Okay, so we don't have any participant joining us over Zoom. We have one. We have AJ. And we only have one participant here at the branch. Our topic is actually quite important, so I'm very disappointed that a lot of you guys today are late. So topic is writing task 2 to what extent? Writing task 2 is a very important part of your exam. Your writing subtest is the last part of your written test. So after listening is done, you will proceed right to reading. And you are given exactly 1 hour to finish your writing test. However, your writing test consists of 2 tasks. You have your writing task 1. Writing task 1 is your GT letter for general training. And then academic, you have statistical report. So I want to put this comparison first. If you are academic, we don't have a live lecture for your writing task 1. Your writing task 1 is uploaded every Tuesday. So the problem, if you're academic, you have 7 to 8 at least variations of your task 1. So 7 Tuesdays. That is why if there's a student enrolling and who will be asking me, sir, can I do the review for just a month? So the problem is, in a month, you will only be able to attend 3 writing task 2 and perhaps 4 writing task 1. So you didn't even make it to half of your target. So what is the concern? I had a student once who attended 4 of my 5 writing task 2 classes. Discuss both views was the one that she missed. Discuss both views is actually the easiest. And it so happened that yun pa ang natapat na exam sa kanya. So naturally, she struggled. She had to retake the exam again. So I don't want you guys suffering the same fate as that candidate. Please, if you have time, the review should be a minimum of 2 months. Okay? It should be a minimum of 2 months. By that time, you now be able to attend, if you're academic, all those 7 Tuesdays for the replay. So always wait for my upload for your academic writing task 1. Again, we don't have a live lecture for that. So this week, we did bar graph. Last week, we did pie chart. 2 weeks ago, we did process. If you just enrolled this week, don't worry. Babalik ulit yan as a cycle. Uulit lang lahat yan. Okay? So for writing task 2, same goes. We are on the 4th topic. Again, this is your first time attending the class, so it's not your 4th, it's your first. Babalikan ulit natin yung to what extent, yung discuss both views, yung open-ended, yung agree-disagree. So today's topic should be solely focusing on writing task 2, to what extent do you agree or disagree. So again, we have 5 kinds of format. We will be able to finish these 5 right here for 2 months. Okay, so if you have just started, wait for 2 months before you're able to attend all these 5. Okay? Again, this will take time. Kailangan po ng oras yan, hindi po yan madali. Totoo lang, nakakasira po ng bait yan. Bilang coach, sa totoo lang ako, pagod na ako kakaturo sa mga estudyante. Ewan ko kung may natututunan pa kayo or what. But again, this is our job to let you understand even the slightest bit of the topic. So please, pakiunawa po. No, kami din po napapagod magturo. Kailangan lang namin time and effort. Tapos, wala pang pumasok ngayon sa Zoom, isa lang. 'Di ba? So, paano nyo ngayon i-expect na pumasa? Reading, sabi ko kahapon, second to the most difficult type of task. Writing is the most difficult. Still the king of the difficulty level. So, awa kayo pag dumating yung exam, tapos matapat sa inyo yung mahirap na topic and you don't know anything about it. So, wala tayong magagawa, babagsak ka talaga. Okay? One of the reasons why hindi namin na-advertise si IELTS as an easy exam is because of writing. Kasi, you have to be the one to generate. So, your essay should be minimum of 250 words. Question is, how can you possibly write an essay about a topic that you don't even understand in the first place? Diba? What if I ask you to write an essay about juvenile delinquency? I want you to write an essay about cryptocurrency. What if I ask you, AJ, to write me an essay about green wave shopping. How the hell are you going to write that? Diba? Kahit nga siguro 100 words, baka mahirapan ka mag-generate eh. What more, you're being asked to write an argumentative written output with 250 words at least, minimum yun. So dapat mag-exceed ka dyan. Diba? It's going to be really critical. And a lot of people still don't understand its importance. Kaya sinasabi ko nga, ang dami kong estudyante nag-e-enroll. Okay, mga replay, kung ano mapapanood nyo ito mamaya. Ang dami nyong nagpa-add sa akin sa group. Ang dami nyong nagpa-add sa akin sa Discord. Kung ganito ng ganito gagawin nyo, makikita tayo na matagal. Kung nagsasabi sa inyo. Kinaganda naman ang lesson natin, may replay. So kung nagpakalasing ka kagabi, may hangover ka pa, mamaya pwede mong panoodin. Okay? It's just that I want you to learn to give it time. May mga students naman ako, minsan nakasalubong ko sa SM, sasabihin, "Sir, estudyante mo ako." "Bakit? Sino ka ba? Di kita kilala." Puro replay lang naman daw siya. Hindi ko siya nakikita sa Zoom, hindi ko siya nakikita dito. So, give it time para matuto ka. Kanya-kanya naman tayo ng pace eh. So, once again, I cannot highlight this enough. This is the most difficult task in the whole IELTS subtest. Kailan ako huling may naka-9 sa reading? Salaan niyo. Kailan ako may huling naka-9 sa reading? Last year, last month, meron. Kailan ako may naka-9 sa listening? Last week. Okay, kailan ako may naka-9 sa speaking? Last year. So, ibig sabihin, ang dali pa lang makakuha ng napaka-common na makakuha ka ng 9, di ba? Sa listening, sa reading, at saka sa speaking. Tama po? Okay, siguro, sa 7,000 na estudyante na na-handle ko, na naturuan ko, 7,000, nasa 2,500 dyan, naka-9 sa listening. Diba? So, tingnan natin yung numbers. Reading, pwede ko masabi, nasa 1,000. Including GT. Speaking, most probably, nasa 350. Maraming mga talented kasi marami kong mga estudyanteng na-handle abroad eh. May estudyante kong Chinese, may estudyante kong Russian, may estudyante kong Singaporean, especially nung nandun pa ako sa bootcamp noong 2019 hanggang 2022. Okay, yun po ang naging trabaho ko, kaya napagpatayo ako ng bahay. Okay? Writing. Writing. Out of 7,000 na naging estudyante ni Sir Kevin, ilang kaya nakakuha ng 9? Sa 200? Nasa? 150. Wala. Wala naka-9. Wala akong estudyanteng naka-9. 8.5, susunod na score. Sa writing, ilan? Naka 8.5. 100? Wala pa rin. Totoo. Diba? Ilan na naka-8? Out of 7,000. Wala niya. 8? Ikaw. Ilan na naka-8 out of 7,000? 20. Tatlo. Yung isa dyan, taga Sri Lanka pa. Yung isa dyan, doktor sa Iloilo. Ngayon ay neurosurgeon na sa UK. At yung isa, graduate ng political science sa Ateneo de Manila University. Tatlo lang na yun, naka-8. Ganon siyang kahirap. Naiintindihan niyo ba? Sa isang taon, ilan na nagtitake ng exam? Sa British Council. Okay, gusto ko makita niyo yung statistics eh. Para maseryoso niyo, makita niyo siya na putang inang hirap nga pala na itong pinasok ko na to. Nasa 200,000. Diba? Ilan na naka-9 out of 200,000 last year? Wala. Ilan na naka-9 out of 200,000 2024? Wala pa rin. Ilan na naka-9 out of 200,000 2023? Wala. The last time we had a 9er was in 2021 pa. So that was 1 in 1 million test takers. ganong kababa ang chance mong maka-9 sa writing. Naiintindihan nyo ba kung gaano kahirap to? Yung nag-mentor sa akin, naka-9. Yung isa kong mentor, naka-9. Nakuha kong score 8. Kaya dito ako sa harap niya nagtuturo. Kasi gusto ko kayong turuan, paano kayo makakuha ng 8, makakuha ng 9. You know, this is the most difficult task. Wala nang hihirap pa dyan, guys. Wala na. Totoo. You're given an opinion, an argument, or a problem, and you have to write an essay in response. The problem is, each of the individual formats will require different kinds of approach. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, di ba? Ang galing ng estudyante na to, naka-8 siya sa speaking eh. Pero, sa 4 na topic na na-attendan niya, ito pang hindi niya na-attendan na discuss both views. Yun lumabas sa exam niya. O kaya hindi niya alam yung approach. O kaya nakakuha siya ng 6. Kailangan niya 6.5 eh. Kung nag-retake siya, umattend siya ulit ng klase ko, naka-7 na siya. Kasi, kuha na niya lahat. Di ba? So, I just want you to understand how difficult writing is. Madali ang OET, madali ang PTE, madali ang ibang exam, madali ang MET, Michigan English Test, na-take ko na yan. Si IELTS, mahirap kasi writing. Dahil dito. So, yung pangalawang pinakamahirap, kahapon. Kaya mag-alala, pagka nagklase ko ng listening, nagklase ko ng speaking, relax lang atmosphere natin kasi madali yan eh. Diba? Eh, yung writing, yung reading, ang hirap. Doon nadadali ang mga estudyante. So, good news, kung ikaw ay estudyante na naghahanap ng OBS, okay, isa ka ba sa mga yon? Naghahanap ng OBS or overall band score. Okay? Good news yan kasi i-add mo lahat ng score para makuha yung OBS. So meaning, kung yung listening mo, kasi nga listening, chance mo dyan, pwede ka maka 7.5 to 8. Mataas eh. Sa reading, sabihin na natin 6.5. Sa writing, sabihin natin bagsak 5. Speaking, 6. O kailangan mo lang ng OBS na 5. Pag pinagsama-sama mo yan, 6 pa rin yan. Lagpas pa sa kailangan mo. So, ibig sabihin, kung ikaw ay estudyante na naghahanap ng OBS, kaya mong i-overinflate yung productivity ng listening at speaking mo to pull the scores of reading and writing up. But the problem comes knocking at your door kung may individual band score requirement ka. Yung wala dapat bababa sa 5.5, wala dapat bababa sa 6.5, diyan ka magkakaproblema. Kasi kahit 9 lahat yan, tapos yung writing mo 5, hindi ka makakaalis. Kuha. Okay? So kung ganun kang kind ng student that you need certain band level on an individual task, then you have to pursue this study much more religiously than others. Okay? Mas kailangan mo siyang pag-igihan, pagtuunan ng pansin. So the topics do not require you to have a specialist knowledge, but you have to be able to present ideas on general issues. So pag sinabi nating present ideas on general issues, the questions will appear like this. Ito ha, magtatanong ako sa inyo, mga participants natin. Halimbawa ngayon ang exam. Tapos ang natapat sa'yo, ito yung question mo, is, it is a natural process that animal species such as dinosaurs become extinct. There's no reason for people to prevent this from happening. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Putya, nanahimik ako dito, tatanungin mo ako ng dinosaur. Di ba?
Yes.
Oh, tapos ikaw. Some people today argue that the media has become increasingly nostalgic and unoriginal. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Paano kung yun ang topic mo sa essay mo ngayon? Simple question is, Kaya mo bang pumasa o hindi? Yun lang ang sagot eh. Ngayon yung exam ko, natanong sa'yo yun, kaya mo pumasa, hindi? Kaya mo pumasa, hindi? Hindi. Kasi gusto ko, honest kayo sa sarili nyo eh, na with the level of knowledge I have right now, I think it's not enough for me to get there. I think it would not be enough for me to overcome this hurdle. No, kaya naman, meron kang tatlong gagawin. Kasi po, tandaan nyo ha, tapos na ako dito eh. Tapos na si Ma'am Shannon dito. Sa kami dito. Tagal na kami tapos dito sa exam. Kayo hindi pa. Sino mag-exam? Kayo. So kami magtuturo, magbibigay kami instruction, gagawin nyo. Di ba? Meron kayong tatlong babasahin. Past examination questions. O bakit mo kailangan magbasa ng past examination questions? Because past examination questions get recycled. Ulit-ulit lang po yan on a yearly basis. May papalitan lang silang term. For example, ginamit yung term na credit card and bank cards as a form of payment na papalit sa cash nung 2010 decade. 10 years ago. Parang ang tagal na pala. Tapos ngayon, online payment, online banking applications. Yun na ang ginagamit na term. So, nag-i-evolve siya, pero yun pa rin ang problem. Yung problem natin sa traffic in 2006 is the same problem we have right now, 20 years later. Traffic pa rin ang problem. Transportation. Yun nga lang may nadadagdag eh. For example, mga driverless vehicles. Anong implication nun sa society? Ngayon, AI. Di ba? Dati, internet lang. Ngayon, AI na ang lumalabas. So, past examination questions get recycled. They get rebranded. So, when you read them, you ask yourself, hey, among these 100 plus questions, alin dito ang kaya kong i-survive with the level of knowledge I have right now? So, yung mga kaya mong i-survive, skip mo na yon. So, yung mga wala kang idea, i-note mo yon. Let's say, yung dinosaurs na poking inang yan. Kung kaalam-alam dyan. O yung mga cryptocurrency na yan, paano ba gumagana yan? O doon ka ngayon magbabasa ng related to topics you lack ideas of. Babasa ka. Naturally, ang babasahin mo naturally English. English articles. Ano yun? Magazines. Pinaka-importante is newspaper. You don't have to you don't have to buy newspapers anymore. 24 pesos kasi isa niyan. Pwede mo na silang i-access online. Like yung Philippine Star, di ba? Yung Inquirer. Yung Huffington Post. New York Times. MSN. Yahoo News. Di ba? Access mo na yung mga malalaking malalaking newspaper companies. Particularly, yung opinion and news section. Paminsan-minsan, babasa rin tayo ng lifestyle ng sports kasi may implication din naman sa sports. May mga tanong din tungkol sa sports. May mga tanong din tungkol sa lifestyle. Paminsan-minsan, babasa tayo but we are going to bathe ourselves more with the opinion and news section. At least one article per day. Wala pong mawawala sa inyo, matututo ka pa. So please, pakilubayan muna yung mga TikTok, yung mga Chinese drama, no? Yung mga YouTube shorts, tsaka mga reels, pakilubayan muna saglit. Mga brain rot lahat yan. Alang itutulong sa iyo sa pangingibang bansa. Hindi ko sinasabi na wag mo nang gawin ever. It's just that sa ngayon, naghahanda ka sa exam. Pagtapos ka na, pag-graduate ka na dito, nasa Canada ka na, ubusin mo lahat ng mga brain rot na TikTok na yan. Wala na akong pakialam. Pasado ka na eh. Yun lang naman ang gusto ko, pumasa ka. Okay? So sa ngayon, divert mo muna yung attention mo kasi pag napansin mo, kinalculate mo, nakakailang oras ba ako screen time? Ako nagugulat ako, maabot ako minsan 3 hours in a day, screen time, without me knowing, pagbabasa lang ng comments. Diba? Kung binasa ko pala yun, opinion, news section, may natutunan pa ako. Makikita mo ngayon halos sa Facebook, puro trolls na lang eh. Yun namang awayan ng gobyerno, wala naman ng lubayan eh. Diba? Hindi naman natitigil yan, kanya-kanya lang naman yung, kanya-kanyang laro. Diba? May laro yung administrasyon, may laro yung kalaban, may laro yung kabila, may laro yung isa pa. Lahat-lahat naman yan, pinapaikot lang tayo eh. Diba? So, ilipat mo na lang yan, yung oras mo, yung effort mo sa makakatulong pa sa'yo. Magbasa ka ng article. English article. Baka naman bulgar, tik-tik binabasa mo, ha? Mga chismis. Lubayan mo muna yan. Okay? And lastly, read samples. But be careful. Yung mga samples po na babasahin natin, dapat ay galing sa mga legit na sources. So, sa online, ito ang problema sa online. No? Ito problema sa mga online samples. Conspiracy theory ko, pakawala yan ng mga British Council and IDP. Kung kunwari, meron silang mga tinuturuan na YouTube tutorials, mga Google searches, kung paano gumawa ng writing. Nakakita kayo ng ganan? Like, ginugol mo siya, ni-YouTube mo siya. Ang mga lalabas dyan, mga Indians and Chinese, makikita, sobrang smiling face sila. Ang dali-dali lang ng IELTS. Ganito lang yan. Napakasimple. Di ba? Kaya nga, mas gusto ng mga tao na puntahan yung mga channels nila kaysa umattend ng klase namin. Bakit? Ano ba meron sa klase namin? Tignan nyo, walang pumasok ngayon. Ano ba meron sa klase ko? Masungit. Di ba? Bad news. Mahirap ang exam. Walang nakakanahin dyan. Kasi totoo yun eh. Ayaw ng mga tao ng totoo eh. Gusto nila yung pinapaikot-ikot sila na masaya. Basta masaya sila, di ba? But that isn't the truth. The truth is, this exam is tough. This exam is difficult. This exam is difficult to deal with. So, yung mga Indians and Chinese na yan, at hula ko lang to ha, conspiracy theory ko to, wala akong ebidensya guys, don't take my word for it, na mga British Council at IDP lang din ang nagsusuporta dyan. At the back, bakit? Kasi pag marami silang nabiktima na, kaysa mag-review ako kay Sir Kevin, magkano review? 3.5 pagka short course, 7.5 kapag 1 year, di ba? Tama po ba? Oh. Eto, libre lang, YouTube lang eh. Oh, mas masaya pa kami. Nakangiti pa yung mga nagtuturo. Sir Kevin, ang sungit-sungit. Kasabihan kami ng tanga-tanga, di ba? Oh. Doon na lang ako sa mga YouTube. O ngayon, bumagsak ka. So, instead na may 200,000 test takers lang, may bumagsak na 50,000. Uulit to, no choice to eh. Diba? 50,000, multiply mo yan sa 15,000. Nasa 900 million. Ganyan pong kalaking pera yan. Diba? Sino hindi gusto ng additional na 900 million on top of the 2.4 billion na revenue natin as British Council? O kaya mas maraming babagsak, mas matutuwa sila. Mas maraming makakanood ng mga videos na peke. Mas maraming mabibiktima, mas maraming babagsak. Hindi po masaya ang review. Hindi po masaya ang turo ko. Pero ito po ang totoo. Kailangan mo magbasa, kailangan mo munang gamitin ang iyong oras para matuto bagong exam. Pagkatapos niyan, bahala ka na sa buhay mo. Pasado ka na, my job is done. Okay? Alright. Read samples. Kaninong samples po? Samples namin. Okay? By the way, gagamitin ko po ito to plug. Meron po kaming binibentang book worth 7,750 pesos ang isa. Isa sa speaking, isa sa writing. Yung pong IT namin, si Sir Christian, siya po ay IT ng Picampa, Espanya na branch. Nagpa-order na ako ng book na yon. Pwede nyo siyang hiramin kapag wala kang ginagawa dito. Let's say, mock exam, occupied pa yung mga PCs, wala kang ginagawa, basa ka ng sample. Pwede mong picturean, pwede mong photocopy, it's fine. No? Dati po, napakayaman namin, pinapamigay namin yung mga books na yan. Totoo. No? Because we became a partner of British Council. Sabi nila, the students who will be taking the exams under your testing center, we give them free books. 750 pesos, may voucher kami. Ngayon, umabot na ng 400,000 pesos yung utang nila sa amin, hindi pa sila nakakabayad, kaya nilubayan na namin yung pamimigay ng books. So again, hindi po ito charity, meron din po kaming mga pamilyang kailangan buhayin, kaya na-help po yung aming pagpapadala ng books for free. So ngayon, magpapadala po kami dito kahit mga 2 copy siguro para lang mabasa ng mga students. And if you want, pwede kayo mag-order. Kung naiinip ka na, meron yan sa Shopee. Type nyo lang 9.09 or lalabas po dun yung book ng writing at saka ng speaking. 750 isa. So 1.5 kung dalawa. Okay? Sayang. Kung 2023 ka nag-review sa amin, libre lang yan. Okay? So, again, read samples but with precaution. So, yun po ang inyong gagawin. Hindi lang po ako magtatrabaho dito, kayo din. Babasa ka ng tanong. Saan mo makikita yung tanong? Questions are in the orange book. Nasaan yung orange book? Mamaya po, i-upload ko. Okay? So, kapag in-upload ko to, andyan na yung YouTube link ng replay. Ito, no? Ito yung mga kasama. YouTube link replay. Tapos, YouTube link ng replay ng mga dati. Like, nandyan na rin 2025, 2024, 2023. So, tatlong versions po ang i-upload ko. Tama po? Okay? Past versions. Para mamili ka, anong gusto mo? Yung pure na English, yung naka-zoom lang talaga, wala kang kausap, o yung naka-record na ganito. So, maraming versions kang pwedeng pamilian. Tapos, susunod kong i-upload yung orange book. Yung orange book po, manual siya eh. So, PDF siya. Pumunta ka sa page 55 to page 67, something like that. 55 to 67. 11 pages yan. 146 questions na puro tanong lang. Sabi ko, di ba? Mag-meditate ka. Tingnan mo, alin sa mga questions na to, kaya mong i-survive at hindi. Okay? So, dun mo siya makikita. Plus, idagdag ko na din itong handout ng lecture ko na to. So, lahat-lahat muna nakatype dito. Makikita niyo yan mamaya. May sarili kang copy. So, bakit PDF? Kahit cellphone, pwede nyo i-access. So, kung wala kang laptop, wala kang PC sa bahay, click mo lang yon sa Google Drive, ma-access mo siya, mababasa mo siya. So, hindi mo na kailangan magkaroon ng mga bulky na papers dyan. Okay? So, okay na pa tayo? Tuloy natin? Okay, dumami ang ating participants. Yung mga lasing, medyo nagising na sila. Mga lasing po sila kanina, no? Ayan. So, for you to complete the task, once again, you have to write at least at least 250 words, rather. 250 words. So, I have some bad news. What if you will be submitting one word short? One word lang, one word short. So, you will be marked as under length. Number of words is 249. Example. Ulang lang ng piso, Penalty 1. Sabihin natin, kasing galing mo yung tatlong naka-8. No, ganun kang kabangis na writer. So, 8 coherence, 8 lexical resource, 8 grammar. Unfortunately, because under length ito, automatic 5 ang TA mo. Or task achievement, task response. Pag inad mo yan, it gives you 29, divide mo sa 4, to get the average, this is giving you 7.14. Wow, congrats, 7 ka pa rin. But the penalty has not yet been imposed. So, ang pinakamataas mo dyan, na pwedeng makuha ay 6. Yun ay kung makaka-8 ka, kung kasing bangis mo, yung tatlong estudyante ko sa loob ng 10 taong pagtuturo ko, 7,000 estudyante ang naturuan ko, kung kasing galing mo sila. Hindi. Diba? Masipag ka bang magbasa? Nagwa 1 article per day ka ba? Masipag ka bang mag-submit ng assignments mo? Hindi. Diba? So, hindi mo aasahan yung 6 na yan. Okay? Sir, bakit po may dalawang examiner? Examiner 1, Examiner 2. Si Examiner 1 is the original examiner. Si Examiner 2 comes into the picture kapag tingin mo, maganda yung writing mo, maganda yung output mo, yung examiner ang may mali. No? Gina-gaslight mo yung sarili mo. Okay? Hindi ako may mali dito, siya. Papa-recheck ka. No? Ano ba si recheck? Ipapa-consult mo yung output mo sa isa pang examiner. Okay? May bayad yan. 6,700 pesos for both writing and speaking. Kung British Council. Sa IDP, pwedeng hatiin. Alam ko, 3,400 ang isa. Recheck. Ibig sabihin nun, di ko na kailangan mag-exam. Meron silang record ng dati mong writing. Babasahin nila. Sabihin ng examiner, well, okay naman to Sige, dagdagan ko na ng 0.5. From 6. Mag-i-email sila sa'yo, congratulations, your scores improved in writing from 6 to 6.5. Achieve mo na yung band score na kailangan mo. Malinaw. Hindi ko lang sinasuggest ang recheck kapag under length ang number of words. Kasi kahit baliktarin natin ang mundo, hindi ka papasa, hindi aangat ang score mo. Dahil the reason why you got such low band scores in the first place is because your writing task is under length. Clear? Okay. Kailan ko sinasuggest yun? Kung sa tingin mo talaga na misassess ka. Like, sir, ang ganda-ganda naman ang ginawa ko, ganyan. Feeling ko talaga, masungkit lang yung natapat sa aking examiner. O yun, pa-recheck ka. So, sir, paano po ba ang instruction niyan? Paano po kami mag-a-apply ng recheck? So, every Thursday, nag-a-upload po ako ng video. Ang title nun ay EOR or Enquiry on Result plus combination of band scores. Yan. Paano kung nag-take ka before, mataas ang score neto, tapos nag-take ka ngayon, mataas yung score na kailangan mo, pero bumaba yung isa. So, papasok dun si combination ng band score. So, isang oras yan na explanation. Kaya panoorin mo if you have questions regarding enquiry and results or recheck and combination of band scores. Watch those videos that I will upload every Thursday yan. Na, ang naidagdag po is what we call the one skill retake. Ngayon lang pong taon ito. Si one skill retake, let's say, pupunta ka ng UK. Naka 7 listening, 7 reading, 6 writing, 7 speaking. Nagpa-recheck ka, walang nangyari. So yung writing, kailangan mo from 6 to 6.5. I-retake mo na lang si writing. The problem is, kalahati ang presyo ng exam. So kung 15,000 to, 7.5. Pero at least, di mo na kailangan mag-listening, di mo na kailangan mag-reading, di mo na kailangan mag-speaking. Happy pa rin ako doon. So writing na lang talaga focus ko. Pagsasamahin ko lang sila afterwards. So si one skill retake, meron lang din po yan mga pinipili. Ano? If I'm not mistaken, si Australia, hindi po lahat ng university is ina-allow nila si one skill retake for student visa. Halimbawa, si University A, payag siya. Si University B, hindi. Kaya once again, kung ikaw ay estudyante na nag-a-apply for student visa in Australia, ask the registrar of your school first. Okay pa? Alright. So, dumako na tayo. Off topic, memorized, eligible. Si eligible po is the handwriting. So, you don't have to worry about eligible anymore since typewritten na po ang ating exam. So, back then, meron kaming coach, 5.5 ang kanyang initial score. Hindi po kami nag-hire ng coach na hindi lagpas sa 7 ang score. Nagpa-recheck siya, hindi maintindihan yung sulat, pinabasa sa kanya sa British Council sa Crown Plaza, Ortigas, nag-increase sa 7.5. Yan na po ang pinakamataas na increase. Dito sa branch ko, 6 ang score ng student ko sa writing, naging 7.5. So, may pag-asa po ang recheck. Clear? Okay. So, 5 types of instruction. Kung makikita nyo ha, si agree-disagree, we have giving and justifying opinions, evaluating advantage and disadvantage, discuss both views, we have comparing opposing opinions, comparing arguments for and against, to what extent, mamaya si to what extent, type slash or last week, at the last week ko na topic, open-ended. It analyzes the problem, it answers direct questions on an issue, but look at to what extent do you agree-disagree. The approach and format differs depending on your views about the task. Kung tatagalogin mo yan, paano daw ang format ng to what extent, bahala ka sa buhay mo. Totoo po. Yan po ang Tagalog niyan. Nang the approach and format differs depending on your views about the task. It depends on you. Bahala ka kung anong format ang gusto mo. At marami po kasing format si to what extent. We have the 100%, this one, and we have the 70-30. Ayan siya. So, ang dami mong pwedeng pagpilian. Okay? So, do you agree or disagree? Look, eto lang po ang kanyang approach eh. Paragraph 1, the introduction of topic and stand, arguments 1, 2, 3 for the body, and paragraph 5 that summarizes and affirms your stand. Meanwhile, doon naman sa 100%, eto siya. Tapos, 70-30. Etong last part na to, ito po yung tinatawag nating 50-50. Wala pong gumagamit niyan kasi wala pong pumasa dyan sa format na yan. So, ayoko naman pag-eksperimentuhan nyo ang inyong exam. So, wag na pong gumamit ng 50-50. Stick tayo sa 70-30 at saka sa 100%. Clear? Okay. So, So how will you be assessed by the examiner? Well, it will be upon the 4 areas of your writing. We have the arguments, ideas, and evidence that you present. Have you discussed all parts of the question? Never misinterpret, never miss even a single word. Minention ko to before, gumawa ka ng essay, the topic is about youth being involved in drug use. So gumawa ka ng essay about drug use. Bakit pabagsak to? Kasi you forget to include the word youth in your essay. Even though that's one word, it's still an important, integral part of your task description. Were you able to present relevant ideas and opinions? Were you able to develop a well-supported argument or idea and make your position clear? Remember, this is opinion type. It falls under the opinion category. So you have to make sure you have a stand and you will be able to explain, elaborate the reason why you are in this position in the first place. Bakit ito ang iyong team? Team A, Team B, something like that. So, spoiler alert, dito po sa Philippines, yung task response score natin, national average is 5.8. No? PR, 5.8. CC, 5.3. VLR or vocabulary, 7.1. Grammar and accuracy, 6.8. Sa kanilang apat, only grammar and vocab achieve more than 6.5. Meanwhile, si CC at saka si task response achieve even below 6. Ang baba. So, intindihin natin, ano po ba si task response? Pagsunod sa instruction. Di ba sabi ko sa inyo, allergic ang mga Pilipino sumunod sa instruction. Di ba? So, please, pag sinabi, to what extent do you agree, disagree? Ito yung format, ganito arrangement, gagayahin mo lang, wala ka nang ibang gagawin dyan. Si coherence and cohesion, this is about paragraphing, and this is about ensuring that each individual paragraphs communicate well. It's the communicative quality, and it transitions well with the use of your cohesive devices or discourse markers. So, organization is paragraphing, cohesion is the transition. So, once again, you have 5 paragraphs. You have 2 formats. We have the 100% approach. And we have the 70-30 approach. Both of which will produce 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs. If you're going to write less, you already failed at the coherence aspect. So ensuring that there's transition between those paragraphs, let's say, ang arrangement ng paragraph mo sa 100% ay, okay, you 100% agree. So naturally, paragraph 1 is the intro and stand. Body paragraph 1 will contain the advantage of the stand you chose, of the side you chose. Body paragraph 2 is the additional statement. So dahil may relationship si paragraph 1, body paragraph 1, and body paragraph 2, you have to showcase them through words, connecting devices. So sasabihin mo dyan, in addition, pwede rin yung furthermore, pwede rin yung moreover. Examiners, look out for these kinds of connectors. Pag wala niyan, wala kang cohesion. May coherence ka nga, wala kang cohesion, bagsak ka pa rin sa CC. Okay? So these are your visible discourse markers. Let us remember, we also have invisible discourse markers. Tulad ng, one of the many advantages of using internet to education is blah, blah, blah. O yun, yung pag-i-introduce, pag-summarize, part din po yun ng cohesive device. We call them the invisible discourse marker. Okay? So now, pumunta ka sa body paragraph 3. Tapos, wala ka ng additional statement para dagdagan yung side na napili mo, which is computers. Ang gagawin mo ngayon, para mag-pop yung pagiging main character ng iyong option, ng iyong choice, gawin natin siyang siraan natin yung kalaban. Di ba? Ganun yan eh. So, library is your option. Why library is bad? Parang ganun. It's difficult to maintain. People no longer visit libraries anymore. Lagyan mo siya ng ganun. Books are hard to maintain. It costs so much to just produce one. Magkakat ka ng trees. May logistics ka pa. So, yung logistics na yan, gagamit ng diesel. So, kaya nagmamahal ang ating books. So, yun ang pang-kontra mo ngayon. So, dahil pupunta ka sa kabilang side, on the other hand ka dyan. Diba? Ano pa? On the contrary ka. In contrast. Nagkakaintindihan po? So, sa cohesion, kailangan pong makita ng mga examiners yan. Even sa pagbibigay ng example. Di ba? Ilan yung paragraph natin sa body? Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3. Tatlo. Both yan 100 at saka 70-30. The thing is, ang sabi ng mga examiner, when it comes to paragraphs example rule, there must be at least one example for the entire essay. Ibig sabihin, kung ilalagay mong example sa body paragraph 1, wala ka sa 2, wala ka sa 3, papasa ka ba? Yes. Minimum nga 1 eh. Di ba? Paano kung nilagay mo siya sa body paragraph 2? Oo naman. Paano kung 1 and 2 meron? The better. Paano kung lahat meron din? Mas okay. Kasi mas hahaba ang iyong explanation. Di ba? So the problem is, when you give example in body paragraph 1, gumamit ka ng for example. Body paragraph 2, for example na naman. So wag. Mag for instance ka naman. Body paragraph 3, mag to illustrate ka naman. Clear? Okay. So para lang may variation at hindi siya redundant. So remember, pinakamataas po tayo, mga Pilipino, sa vocabulary at grammar. Sila lang po ang lumagpas sa 6.5. Bakit kaya? So if you're going to ask me, grabe, mga Filipinos, ang galing niyan sa grammar, ang galing niyan sa vocabulary. Kasi, Diyos ko po, preschool pa lang tayo, kinder pa lang tayo, nag-i-English na tayo. Di ba? Ano ang English nito? Apple! Di ba? Oh, kinder pa lang tayo, nagpe-preposition na tayo, in, on, at. Grade 1, nouns. Grade 2, verbs. Grade 3, adjectives. Abisado natin lahat yan. O, lahat ng nakikita mong commercial, English. Napapakinggan mo sa radyo, English. Pinapakinggan mong kanta, English. Pinapanood mong movie, English. So, vocab and grammar, very rich ang ating vocabulary. Totoo lang. Okay? Kaya po mga Filipinos, given na to, mataas tayo sa vocab and grammar. Saan tayo dapat mag-focus? Sa task response at coherence and cohesion. Okay? Alright. So, dito na tayo sa question analysis. We have to analyze the question, what is being asked. In this part, we have to determine the topic statement, the prompt, and what is the actual question, what is being asked. So, once again, kaya analyze lang natin to. There's no assessment involved. There is no brainstorming involved yet. The best way to solve the world's environmental problem is to increase the cost of fuel. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So, si prompt, this is the background statement which the question revolves into. So, basically, ito po si prompt. Remember the prompt is the statement much closer to the instruction. Ito po si task instruction, si to what extent do you agree or disagree? Meaning, kung may sentence na mauuna dyan, tulad ng, the world is experiencing environmental problems at an alarming rate. The best way to solve the world's environmental problem is to increase the cost of fuel. So you are not agreeing with this first sentence kasi malayo siya eh. Ang tawag doon is background statement. Saan ka nag-agree? Sa prompt or the one closer to the instruction. Malinaw. Ang dami pong nagkakamali dyan, kaya gusto ko pong i-highlight yan. So we have the first part. Our first format is 100%. You agree, disagree, 100%. Yung isa naman, you agree, disagree to a certain opposing view on either paragraph 2 or 4. At yung isa pang format, nakakalimutan na natin is si both agree and disagree at the same time. Very difficult to execute. Wala pa pong pumasa dyan, kaya hindi na po natin siya gagamitin. So first, tayo po ay mag-brainstorm lang. Diba? Today is my exam. Natapat sa akin, a country will develop quickly and will become more interesting if the population is made up of different nationality and culture. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the statement? So let's analyze. A country, di ba, will develop quickly, uunlad daw ito, and will become more interesting if the population is made up of different nationality and culture. Kung iba-ibang lahi daw dito. Agree ka ba doon? Hindi. Saan bansa ka pupunta, sir? Bermuda? Saan pupunta?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Kasi kapag nag-disagree ka dyan, paano kung ayaw na pala ng New Zealand ng mga Pinoy, di ba? O ganun-ganun yan eh. So agree tayo dyan. Tama ba? Okay lang, may Chinese tayo, may Indians tayo, may Nigerians tayo, may Brits tayo. O kasi, pag sinabing more interesting, ang pakikinggan na lang ba natin na hip-hop ay mga dito? Diba, syempre nakakasawa pag puro local. So, kailangan din natin magkaroon ng enmeshment from the other cultures. So, I think tinatawag natin global culture. Okay? What else? Canada, for example. Napakadaming iba't ibang lahi doon. Pero ang welcoming nila sa lahat. Okay? So, magdi-develop to ba quickly ang isang bansa? Kung binubuo ito ng iba't ibang nationalities, o kung may Japanese ka dito, may Chinese ka dito, sila yung mga investors. Sila mamumuhunan, magtayo ng negosyo dito. Yun nga lang, baka hindi ako mag-agree 100%. Baka 70-30 lang. Dahil, pag puro ibang lahi naman, baka makalimutan natin yung self-identity natin. Nagkakaintindihan po. So, yun, dun papasok yung pag-brainstorm mo. First, gusto ko lang munang i-break down sa inyo yung ibig sabihin ng salitang to what extent. Kasi basically, pag tinanggal mo yung to what extent, pag tinanggal niyo po yung to what extent, ano na lang yan? Do you agree or disagree? Tama? At that was my lecture last May. May sariling lecture yan. Ano ba ang pinagkaiba ni to what extent kay do you agree or disagree? Si to what extent po kasi is a phrase answerable only by an intensifier. And an intensifier is an adverb. Nagkakaintindihan po ha, gusto ko lang pong bumalik tayo sa elementary English, maintindihan natin, ano ba si to what extent? Kung tatagalogin mo niyan, hangganan. Ano ang hangganan ng iyong pagtutol o pagsang-ayon? Di ba? Hanggang saan ka? Okay? Kumbaga sa poker, kumbaga sa tong-its, o all-in ka ba? Pupusta mo ba lahat? Yun yung 100%. Pag 70%, may titira kang konti. Hindi ka ganun kakumpiyansa. Nagkakaintindihan po, gusto ko lang i-clarify. Okay? So, ang pagsagot ng to what extent, may 100%. So, pag sinabi mo 100%, sabi ko nga, intensifier, adverb, nagamit ka ng completely, fully, totally, wholeheartedly, entirely, really, very much, downright, strongly. Pag wala po yan, pag wala po itong mga adverbs na to, it doesn't feel complete that you really did agree or disagree 100%. Balik rin natin yung sitwasyon. Okay? Ang tanong ay hindi to what extent. Listen, tingin mo na. Ang tanong ay hindi to what extent. Basic lang, na do you agree or disagree. tapos naglagay ka na to. Di ba, it feels wrong. Bakit? Hindi naman tinatanong yung extent eh. Bakit ako maglalagay ng completely? Bakit ako maglalagay ng wholeheartedly? Kaya naman, when my students submit their assignments to me, for me to check, una kong tinatanong, hindi ka umattend ng klase, no? O sir, umattend ako ha, grabe ka. O paano ko nalaman? Nag 100% ka. Pero wala ni isa sa mga salitang tinuro ko ang ginamit mo. Ay, ganun ba sir? Nakalimutan ko lang po. Pwede ba sabihin sa exam? Tatawag ka sa mga examiners, nasa Canada na yun, nasa Canada na yung papel mo, tatawag ka. Ay, sorry nakalimutan ko kasi yung completely do sa introduction. Hindi. O tapos, agree or disagree ang topic mo. Naglagay ka ng completely. Tatawag yung examiner sa'yo, madaling araw. Hello, is this Kevin? Kevin, I would like to clarify, is this a mistake that you wrote a completely adverb on your stand? Because this is a basic agree, disagree. It doesn't have to what extent. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just my fault. Alang ganon, what you submit is permanent. Pag naglagay ka ng completely, fully, totally, entirely, really, very much, downright, strongly, sa walang to what extent, bagsak ka sa TR. Pag hindi ka naglagay ng completely, fully, totally, entirely, really, very much, downright, strongly, sa isang to what extent, hindi mo sinagot si to what extent. You're basically not responding to the question. Ano ba si task response? Responding to the question. Bagsak ka na naman sa TR. Dahil lang hindi mo na ilagay yan. So gusto ko lang maintindihan nyo, ano ba si to what extent? Ano ba ang bearing nito sa ating exam? Okay pa? Okay. Ang kinadali niyan, si 100%, kung napili mo ha, kung gusto mo talaga mag 100%, you just have to use the basic format of the do you agree or disagree. So, if any of you from my class, kung si Angel, si Angela, si Elaine, si Jessamine, Melo, si Miles, si Rovelyn, si Valerie, si Zaisro, if any of you attended my do you agree or disagree lesson last May, may idea ka na paano ito i-approach. Dahil ang agree-disagree, 100% at do you agree or disagree is paragraph 1, intro plus stand. Paragraph 2, argument 1. Paragraph 3, argument 2. Paragraph 4, argument 3. And paragraph 5, conclusion, summary, and affirmation of stand. Yan po yun. Kung nakalimutan nyo na. This is the format of your agree, disagree. 100%. For to what extent? Okay? Well, ano ba ang laman ng argument? You have to answer the question why. Kasi ang sabi mo dyan, I agree. Or I completely agree. Argument 1, why? Bakit ka agree? Anong benefit na to sa target population? Kasi ang target population, the one involved in the topic, ay hindi lahat ng tao ha. Kasi may mga occasions na ang topic is about elderlies lang. May topics na tungkol sa students lang. May topics na tungkol sa children lang. May topics na tungkol sa parents lang. So you have to understand to whom the topic is about. To whom the topic is for. Okay? So, ganun mo siya masasagot. Halimbawa, many countries have now banned smoking in public places. Some people feel that governments should ban smoking entirely. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Eh, mag-100 ako dyan. So, pili ako sa mga words. Alright? So, there is an alarming increase in the number of smokers worldwide, and this has led many countries to impose restrictions on smoking in public places. However, while this policy may possibly reduce the consumption of cigarettes, I firmly support the idea that governments should consider forbidding smoking everywhere. Anong argument 1 ko? Why? So one paragraph of the body contains one reason, Explanation bakit, justify with evidence. Pwede kang magbigay ng example. Once again, it's not supposed to be every paragraph of the body. One example for the entire essay is enough. Smoking is the leading cause of many life-threatening diseases such as lung cancer and heart-related diseases. Repetitive yung diseases, I know. So -1 ako dyan sa vocab. It does not only affect the users but also those people around them. In fact, secondhand smoke is proven to be as dangerous as active smoke to those who inhale it. Therefore, if tobaccos are not banned completely, smokers and individuals exposed to secondhand smoke from cigarettes consumed in private places may still contract this disease. It is also important to note that the consequences of smoking can affect the economy of a country. How? Although tobacco companies generate revenues and contribute to the government through taxes, these monetary gains do not offset the cost of healthcare for smoking-related illnesses. Dahil maninigarilyo pa rin ng mga tao, saan sila isusugod sa public hospital na pinapondohan ng mga gobyerno? Diba? We'll need to continue funding the treatment and management of these diseases, and in the long run, this would negatively impact the nation's economy. So ano-ano ba ang mga sakit na naidudulot ng paninigarilyo? Cancer, lung disease, ano pa? Heart problems. Ano ba ang pinakamataas na top 3 leading cause of death in the Philippines? Cardiovascular disease, pneumonia, and cancer. Yung tatlo na yon. So, ginagamot yun ng gobyerno. Kaya nga, libre ang ating anti-cancer medications. So, binabayaran natin yung through taxes. So, yung binabayad ng mga tax sa sigarilyo, hindi sapat para gamutin ang mga nagkakasakit dahil sa sigarilyo. So, yun po ang ating pinupunto dito. Furthermore, the manufacture, distribution, and use of tobacco products can cause considerable harm to the environment. The production of cigarettes requires the use of chemicals which can contaminate bodies of water. In addition to that, cigarettes also contain thousands of toxic substances which are breathed out and released into the atmosphere. This is not to mention the fact that cigarette butts, which are a type of toxic waste, can end up in rivers and lakes and destroy animal habitats. In conclusion, forbidding smoking in public places alone cannot substantially reduce the damaging effects of smoking to individuals, nations, and the environment. In my opinion, smoking should be banned completely, which would lead to a much healthier society. Ito yung sample number 2. The best way to solve the world's environmental problem is to increase the cost of fuel. To what extent do you disagree? So, nag 100% tayo. Ang ginamit natin dyan na adverb is completely. Some people believe that in order to solve the environmental problems of the world, the price of oil should be increased. Doing so, they assume would help in protecting and conserving the non-renewable energy sources. However, I am completely against that this approach is the optimal solution to all of the world's environmental concerns. So ako po ay 100% disagree na itaas natin ang cost of fuel. Pucha, naranasan natin ang pagtaas ng cost of fuel, lahat ng uri ng ekonomiya ay napilay. So ito po ang aking argumento dyan. Number 1, with fuel made unaffordable, motorists would be discouraged to use cars excessively. Anong magiging resulta? This would result in the reduction of global warming as less harmful pollutants would be emitted into the air. Totoo naman, which mainly contributes to the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Nevertheless, since fuel consumption is only a partial contributor to this problem, global warming cannot be reverted instantly, and the productivity of the society is put to risk since many industries depend on petrol products. In addition, supporters of the view of increasing fuel costs believe that such move would compel people to use alternative forms of energy. So, mag-shift na tayo sa solar, mag-shift na tayo sa electric, which are safer and more eco-friendly naman talaga. However, ito naman ang problema, the transition from one source to another would take years of study and implementation. It would only cripple the economic stability. Magkano ba ang pagpapa-install ng solar? Magkano ba ang pagbili ng electric-powered car? Million din yan. Diba? Hindi naman yan basta-basta. Hindi naman afford yan ng simpleng mamamayan. Diba? As a result of this inability of people and products to be transported, basic needs such as food, pati nga medical supply, pati gamot magtataas kasi gagamit ng truck yan. Ano ba tumaas na nag-awa yung Iran at saka US? Diba? Diesel, yun ang tumaas ng gusto. Umabot ng 130 pa eh. Inabot yun, ano? Will be scarce. On the other hand, in many countries like the Philippines, the great majority of the people who own cars belong to the rich and privileged. Although an increase in the cost of petrol products would initially hurt, it would not keep them from using cars for as long as they can easily afford the price of fuel, no matter how expensive. Tingin nyo ba pag tinaas natin yung cost of fuel, matatakot sila Chavit Singson gamitin yung mga Land Cruiser nila? Hindi naman. Diba? So, afford pa rin nila yan. In conclusion, increasing fuel costs is at best temporary because it focuses more on governmental policy rather than individual responsibility. Since most of the world's environmental problems result from the inconsiderate actions of individuals, the issues would only be permanently resolved unless people learn how to live sustainably without sacrificing stability. So, that is your 100% approach. Your arguments should be explaining why. Bakit ako agree? Nagigets niya? Kasi kapag ganito, ganyan, ito mangyayari sa mga tao, ito magiging epekto nito sa mga mamamayan. Ganon. In English, of course. Okay? But, the ideal approach is none other than your 70-30. Or what we call the modified opinion. Nagkakaintindihan pa? At yan po ang ituturo ko sa inyo. After our 10-minute break. So, the time on my watch is 10:20. Break lang tayo for 10 minutes, 10:30, balik tayo. Dito po mauubos ang ating oras, na? Alright, so now that we have reached the approach number 2 or the ideal approach, how can I explain 70-30? Okay, there are two ideas, right? There are two ideas. Let's say, which fast food you want to eat? And I have Jollibee and McDonald's. Okay? So, you would eat at Jollibee 2 times more than you eat at McDonald's for a couple of reasons. Let's say Jollibee has, at the argument 1, less expensive options. Argument 2, they have more choices, more food choices. But their argument 3, pro McDo, is that you will mention that they provide good toys, like good toy collaboration. Unlike Jollibee, that they don't have that much impactful toys for their meals, for their Happy Meals, for their kiddie meals. Okay? So basically, you agree with them both. It's just that you agree more on Jollibee, but you don't neglect McDonald's advantage to you. Right. Public versus private transport. Okay, which would you prefer? Saan ka mas kampe? Okay, I will go with private. Na? So, ako si private, 70. Public, 30. Nakita pa? So, argument 1, si private, ano ba ang ino-offer niya versus public? Safety. So, pwede mong sabihin niya sa argument mo that since it's your own personal private car, you can go to places, you are more secured because you have locks installed. Majority of robbery and thefts occur in mass transport systems such as railway and trains and buses. Doon nagaganap ang mga nakawan, holdapan, nagkakaintindihan po. Okay? Sa taxi, di ba, meron pang nagpapabango na nakakahilo. Pwede kang daling kung saan-saan. Di ba? So, nakakatakot yan. Next is argument 2. Convenience. Di ba? Ang MRT natin, nagsasara yan, 9:30. Ang bus, minsan lasing na ako, pauwi ako ng sumakay ako ng bus, 2:30 na bago dumating, di ba? Kung may private car ka, may maghahatid sa'yo, or you can go Grab, book your private cars with a driver, mas convenient yon. Kasi kaya ka rin point to point. From your doorstep to the place where you want to go. Kasi kapag public yan, bababa ka dito sa certain place, lalakarin mo pa, tatawid ka pa, iikot ka pa. So, ang dami pang gagawin, no? But their argument 3 is that despite all the argument, positive the advantages you can gain from having your private car, it's expensive. And public transport system, once enhanced, can carry more people at the same time, which ultimately is more eco-friendly and more economical. O, di ba? So, nag-agree ka sa kanilang dalawa, yun nga lang, mas lamang ang agree mo sa isa. So, yun po si 70-30. Naintindihan nyo na? Okay. So, ano po ang gagamitin natin dyan na adverb? For the most part, generally, almost entirely, mostly, predominantly. O, halimbawa lang ha, adobo versus sinigang. Mas fan ako ng sinigang. Okay? So, ganito magiging stand ko. For the most part, I find myself in accord with the advantages brought about by, tatagalugin ko to ha kasi gusto ko lang makita nyo yung idea, pero ang English po ng sinigang is broiled pork broth in tamarind soup. Okay? Tagalog lang to for the sake of idea para makita nyo yung ideation. By sinigang, but I do not neglect the fact that adobo also offers other benefits. Diba? Nagawa natin siya ng stand para lang makita nyo, si adobo and sinigang, pwede mong pagpalitin yan. Pwede mong gawing public transport, private transport. Pwede mong gawin yan living in the countryside, living in the city. Diba? Kasi dalawang contrasting arguments yan eh. Nilagay ko lang si adobo and sinigang dyan para makita nyo na pwede nyo siyang pagpalit-palitin. Yan po yung stand. Yan po yung buong stand nyo. Now, the thing is, si for the most part, sabi si sir, gagamit ng for the most part. E di ikaw, mag-generally ka naman, mag-almost entirely ka naman, mag-predominantly ka naman. No? Yung benefits, yung advantages, pagpalitin mo naman. Pwedeng-pwede po. Ayan. Ito ang pinakamagandang gawing example. The internet has made traditional libraries unnecessary. To what extent do you agree, disagree? Discuss giving examples from your own knowledge and experience. So, libraries versus internet. Saan ka mas kampe? Sa internet. Bakit? Tama. Sino dito yung, gusto kong matutunan to, makapunta ka mamaya ng library? Hindi eh. Labas yung phone, search mo sa Google, putya, kakausapin mo na nga lang yan eh. Di ba? How many species of penguins are there, di ba? So, ganun lang kabilis. Andyan na agad ang info. Eh, ang books, may iba't ibang edition yan at ang mamahal ng edition yan. I remember, when I was still studying nursing, isang libro namin noon na nasa 3,500 pages yung OB, no? NCM 101, Obstetrics and Gynecology Nursing, Medical Surgical Nursing by Barbara Cogier. It costs roughly 4,000 to 5,000 pesos. Sasabihin ko sa magulang ko, 7,000 para ibubulsa ko yung 3,000. Diba? Ganun ang corruption nun eh. Kaya mga Pilipino, napaka-corrupt. Nagsisimula po yan sa pagbili natin ng libro nung high school, nung college. Sabihin natin, mas mahal ng 500, binubulsa natin yung sobra. Huwag nyo ko sasabihin na hindi kayo corrupt. Corrupt tayong lahat dito. Okay? Alright. So, library tayo. Okay? Pro-library. So, paano mo ngayon ilalabas ang stand mo? So, 70% internet, 70 internet. Nasa kanya yung, for the most part, I predominantly. Tapos, 30 naman si library. Tama po tayo? Okay? Ayan, yan po yung ating napagkasunduan. Now, Paano natin gagawan ito ng legitimate introduction? Guys, makinig kayo ha. Ito po ang isa sa pinaka-importanting technique na ituturo ko ha. This is your task description. Your task description must be reflected throughout the entire essay. Basically, your introduction should mirror exactly the points that you will be including in your introduction. 1:1 yan. The problem is, according to the rule, bawal tayong magkaroon ng repetitions. So para tumaas ang ating vocabulary score, ang sabi ng mga examiners, 4 to 6 new words from the task description to the introduction para makakuha ka ng 6.5. Para makakuha ka ng 7, more than 6 words ang ating target. So anong una mong gagawin? Highlight mo. Internet, anong synonym niyan? World Wide Web. Has made, traditional, libraries, usual, common, learning hub, unnecessary. Diba? To what extent do you agree, disagree? Gawa ko ng sample introduction. In the recent, at present, more people are convinced by the benefits offered by the internet, especially in terms of knowledge acquisition. Due to this unprecedented transition, libraries are now becoming obsolete. Nawawala na siya ng silbi. In my opinion, although I predominantly find myself in favor of the internet accessibility, I do not neglect of libraries benefit to those who do not have access to computers. There you go. That is my sample introduction. Diba? They are 1:1. If you're going to convert the words I have from my introduction, they're basically the same as the one you will see in the task description. So, ganun po. Hanap ka ng keyword, palitan mo siya, or kung hindi mo siya mapalitan, introduce it using your own words. That will be better. But again, it will take a lot of time for you to learn that skill, kaya kailangan po din natin mag-practice. I agree that. For the most part, I agree that. Predominantly, I support the notion of. I adhere the ideology that. Anong pinaka-paborito ko dyan? Ito, I find myself in accord with the notion that. Lagyan mo pa ng, for the most part, ay Diyos ko po, ang haba na yan. 12 words na yan agad. Ano ang nag-separate sa agree-disagree sa to what extent? The adverb used to indicate the extent of your stand and the format that you're going to use. Ito pa, the growing number of overweight people is putting a strain on the healthcare system. Some people think that the best way to deal with this problem is to introduce more PE lessons to school curriculum. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Dumadami na daw matatabang bata. Siyempre, kapag hindi natin sinusunod to, ano ba yung sabihin natin sa strain on the healthcare system? Naturally, overweight is attributed to a lot of health risks. Diba? Endocrine system, cardiovascular system, joint problems. So in the future, mahihirapan daw ang healthcare system natin tugunan ang magiging problema. Kaya ngayon pa lang, habang bata pa lang sila, mga chubby sila, pag dagdagan natin ang PE nila. Yun daw ang solusyon. Nagets niyo po yan? Okay, agree ka doon? Disagree? Ako disagree. Bakit? Ba't dadagdagan natin yung PE? Ba't di natin kontrolin yung pagkain nila? Di ba? Unang-una, nutrition and food, their lifestyle is what should be corrected. Si PE, agree pa rin ako dyan. So, magiging agree ko dyan, 70 disagree, 30 agree. So, ayan. Sarap. Many individuals believe that the issue of obesity can be rectified. Rectified can be corrected through the facilitation of more physical education classes to the curriculum. So as to relieve the burden of the health system in the future, yun po yung tinatawag nating anong word yun? Strain. Yan. Burden. I predominantly find myself in accord that this solution can address this concern, but I do not neglect other factors must be considered. The modernization, ito yung isa kanina sa library, pwede nyo siyang basahin mamaya. So, doon na tayo sa argument. Gusto ko lang pong maklarify para lang magkaroon ng linaw, na lalo po yung mga nasa Zoom, mga manonood ng replay mamaya, all 9 of you guys, Angela, Elaine, AJ, Angel, Miles, Rovelyn, Ryan, Valerie, and Zaistro, pakiintindi po itong mabuti, ha? Yung placement ng body, meron po tayong dalawang ways. Okay? So we have intro. Tapos, ang sabi mo dyan, 70 internet, tama? 30 library. May dalawang version po kung paano mo siya i-arrange. Tingnan pong mabuti ha. Si body paragraph 1, pwede mong unahin yung 30 library. Yung arguments 4. 4 ha, para sa library. Body paragraph 2, ito na yung 70. Internet. Arguments for the internet. Di ba nakakalito kapag hindi ka umattend ng klase? Yung mga ganyan-ganyan pa pala. Ito yung moreover, ito yung arguments for internet, conclusion. Or, pwede mo rin itong gawing ganito. Ipakita ko lang yung transition ha. So, body paragraph 1, nasa library ka. Pupunta ka ng body paragraph 2, magi-internet ka na. Anong connecting device ang pwede mong gamitin dyan? On the other hand, kasi punta ka sa kabilang side eh. More, in comparison, on the contrary, in contrast, however, yun yung mga pwede mong gamitin. Nevertheless, kung fan ka ng ganong mahabang words, walang problema. Just as long as you can spell them out properly. Remember, spelling is part of your grammar. Okay? Now, ito yung other version. Paano mo siya i-introduce? 70% na naman, 30 library. Ito yung version 2. Gawin natin kulay blue para iba ang color. Body paragraph 1, sinimulan mo siya with the internet. Body paragraph 2, doon ka naman mag furthermore, moreover. On the other hand, kasi magdadagdag ka from internet, another paragraph, dito naman, dahil body paragraph 3, dito ka nako-kontra, dito ka mag-on the other hand, dito ka mag-however, yan, arguments for library. and then conclusion. Makita po yung similarity and difference ng arrangement nila. So sa madaling salita, no, para lang po ma-summarize natin, kasi nga ang hirap din itong i-remember, yung 30% mo, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa body paragraph 1 or pwede mo siyang ilagay sa body paragraph 3. Hindi mo lang siya pwedeng ilagay sa body paragraph 2. Hindi siya pwedeng gumitna. Bakit? Masisira kasi yung cohesion doon. Library, nag-internet ka, tas library na naman. Or internet, library, tas internet ka na naman. Hindi pwede yun. So, kailangan magkasama yung same idea. So, internet, library, or library muna, internet. So, yun po yung proper arrangement. So, again, interchangeable yan ha. Kung ang topic mo, adobo, sinigang, 70 adobo, 30 sinigang, or the other way around, ganit din po ang arrangement. Okay? So, screenshot nyo kung gusto nyo para makita nyo kung saan yung placement. It's just that your 30%, whatever it may be, nasa body paragraph 1 lang yan at body paragraph 3. Hindi siya pwedeng mapunta sa 2. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng gumitna. It's either malapit sa introduction or malapit sa conclusion. Okay po? Yan. So, ito na po, ano? Ang aking internet versus library. Naka-pro-internet ako. In terms of education, there's no doubt that the internet propels the academe to greater heights since obtaining information is much more accessible through online web search engines like Google than traveling all the way to a library to search for the needed information. Individuals can do this easily with a few clicks and taps whenever they want to, whatever they may be. Moreover, punta ko ulit, internet na naman eh. Diba? So moreover, furthermore, in addition ako, online resource materials such as electronic files are also less expensive and more eco-friendly than books. The cost people needs to pay for physical copies is much higher compared to e-books since they require cutting of trees, processing of the wood product to make paper, printing, and even transporting. All of these contribute greatly to the environmental problems the world is currently facing. However, transition ako. Ano ba ang meron sa library na positibo pa rin? Di ba nga, marami pa rin sa ngayon na walang kakayahang bumili ng cellphone. Mahal yan, hindi naman mura yung cellphone eh. Yung sa akin yan, Samsung S23, hindi naman yan Ultra, inabot ng 35K. What more kung Apple pa yan, abutin ng 70 to 80,000 yan. Okay? iPad, computers, laptops, hindi mura yan. Yung internet connection, may bayad din yan. Diba? So, paano yung mga nakatira sa far-flung areas? Paano yung mga walang kakayahan na bumili? So, maintain pa rin natin yung library. I can attest that libraries contain literary articles that are still essential even today. Many people who live in the remote areas still do not have access to stable internet connection or even the money to buy electronic equipment for access to different websites. This is the reason why I still believe that libraries are vital to the ones who need to study despite not having the gadgets and internet connection. In conclusion, although the internet is indeed a technological marvel when it comes to information acquisition, I'm also in favor of library improvements so the ones who need to get them can access the knowledge as well. Together, society can become more educated in the future by becoming equally technologically advanced and ensuring learning for everyone through online and physical books. So, si conclusion, summary of everything, plus yung positive outlook mo sa future. So, magandang ending yan. Ito yung overweight people is putting a strain on the healthcare system. Some people think that the best way to deal with this problem is to introduce more physical education lessons in school curriculum. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Many individuals believe that the issue of obesity can be rectified through the facilitation of more physical education classes to the curriculum, so as to relieve the burden of the health system in the future. I predominantly find myself in accord that this solution can address this concern, but I do not neglect other factors must be considered. Ito yung aking first argument. It is an outright fact that introducing more physical education offers many benefits to the individuals. The most significant factor is the long-term impact to the health of every student. The sports and games serve as a refresher for the students after their lessons that make them more physically active, develop motor skills, and attain knowledge. As they do regular physical activities, they will become accustomed to becoming active until adulthood. Moreover, so dahil additional statement ito from the previous one, they are in line Doing physical activities such as biking and running at the playground together with friends and classmates inculcates special skills of cooperation, coordination, and socialization to other people. Playing team sports also develop the cognitive understanding of students for the importance of teamwork. However, ito na nga, the body needs, kailangan niya ng healthy food, enough rest. So, hindi puro PE lang. Kailangan din natin ang tinatawag na parental guidance. Ang kinukonsume nila, junk food that often contains high calories and lack the necessary vitamins and nutrients. Furthermore, students must be taught to lessen their time spent playing computer games late at night instead of getting enough sleep, which could take a toll to one's health. To conclude, I support more hours for PE to reduce sedentary lifestyle, but I also believe that this concern can be curbed by taking all preventive measures with strong self-discipline to make the society healthier in the future. Eto, yung mga gobyerno daw sa iba't ibang bansa, iba na daw natin yung mga dangerous sports. Sabi naman daw ng iba, dapat may kakayahan tayong mamili anong sport ang gusto natin gawin. Ano ba yung mga dangerous sports? Karera, ano pa, combat sports, mga UFC, boxing, di ba? Ano pa, even yung basketball, ano yan delikado yan, nagkakasipaan, ano? Baseball, pwede kang tamaan ng, ano dyan, ng bola sa mukha. Sports is one of the most common pastime activities that many individuals do. In line with this, many people are of the opinion that there are certain competitive games that authorities must prohibit. However, I predominantly support persons' freedom to choose whatever sport they want, but I also believe that regulations must be implemented. The physicality that people experience from playing sports is something that cannot be removed. In addition, it is one of the reasons why people play extreme sports, and that is to feel the adrenaline rush. Such games like racing and martial arts are what many people perceive as dangerous, but that is where the excitement happens, resulting in their popularity. Furthermore, physical games like boxing have huge sponsorships. If the government would instantly ban many extreme sports and ball games, the multi-billion industries would affect the global economy negatively. For instance, yung NBA in the USA generates $6 billion yearly. Hindi pa kasama din yung merchandise and valuation ng team. Stopping games like these would leave thousands of athletes unemployed, including the management, staff, and even employees who depend on games to write articles. This is just for one sport alone. On the other hand, there are unregulated games and even illegal fighting matches that are undetected. These activities promote gambling while not ensuring the participant safety. If these blood sports continue, the players are at risk and the government does not even earn a single tax revenue from them. In conclusion, playing sports should be a freedom enjoyed by everyone. Even though individuals are allowed to play whatever games they choose, the government must still regulate the safety of the participants to ensure that enjoyment and sportsmanship are met. Ito, naging tanong din to. Sa ibang bansa, common daw yung nagpapahinga ng isang taon ang mga estudyante bago mag-college. Excuse me lang. Para na kami nasa Canada sa lamig dito. Practice na yan, syempre, pag pupunta kayo sa ibang bansa. Diba, kung dito pa lang, giniginaw na kayo, paano dun? Mag-i-snow dun, diba? Alright. So, basahin ko na siya. In many nations worldwide, the concept of not enrolling at a university as soon as someone graduates secondary level has become rampant these days. In relation to this, I am generally not in favor of the idea, although I believe it could be beneficial for the selected few. Taking a break from studying may indeed give opportunities to some individuals. During this time, graduates can either pursue summer jobs and part-time work. The money they could save would then be used for their tuition fees. This will make them more responsible. However, it is not ideal since they are not well experienced enough and could be paid less than what they deserve. This could lead to work exploitation if not corrected early on. Furthermore, wala nang iba pang best time na mag-enroll ng college, kundi right after you graduate. Kasi fresh pa yung napag-aralan mo eh. This gives students the edge since the basic knowledge they have acquired from collective years of studying can be used in a more advanced setting, especially when studying specific courses. Moreover, the knowledge they have are still fresh as compared to when they take a year off, which could make them forget some of the important lessons from previous learnings. On the other hand, kailangan pa rin naman natin magpahinga talaga. Kailangan. Some individuals feel that they need to take a year off to avoid burnout. This is to give themselves proper rest for the meantime before engaging in a more advanced level of studying. It could be beneficial to these people since they will be regaining confidence after enjoying a break from schooling. They could also use this time to think which course would be the most suitable for them. In conclusion, although many individuals today want to take a rest before enrolling to college right after they graduate secondary level, I still believe that a shorter vacation of 3 to 4 months could be enough. This is to keep the balance of taking break and prepare them sa university life ahead. So, tinype ko to ng 8 minutes lang, 293 words. Live ko tong ginawa. Ito din, live ko din to ginawa before, at ito po magiging assignment nyo. Okay? Assignment nyo to, the recent popularity of online shopping will result in the end of high street shops. To what extent do you agree, disagree? Yeah. Close. Okay. So, paliwanag ko lang, ano po ba yung high street shops? Sa ibang bansa kasi, meron silang mga streets na kung saan tabi-tabi yung mga branded goods. Bawa, LV, Chanel, Gucci, magkakatabi yan. So, yun po yung high street shops. Dahil daw popular na yung online shopping, mawawala na daw itong mga high street shops na to. O kahit nga hindi siya high street shops kahit yung mga shops natin sa mall, no? Naniniwala ka ba na mawawala ang mga high street shops? Actually, unti-unti na nga nagsasara karamihan sa kanila, di ba? Bakit? Mas marami nang order online. Totoo po yan, di ba? So, ang naging arrangement ko ng ideas dyan, yes, agree ako na sobrang popular ng shopping. Gumamit ako dyan ng mga examples about how influencers are even putting links na napaka-easily accessible. Ang dali ng return policies lately. Tapos yung 30% ko dyan, na kaya ayokong mag-end yung high street shops kasi iba kasi yung feeling na nasusukat mo yung damit No? Like one time, nag-order ako, ang sikip. Medium yon. Sa isang shop, yung medium naman, ang luwag. So, iba kasi pagka nakikita mo yung garment, na-feel mo yung fabric, so sana hindi siya mag-stop. Yun yung aking counter-argument na 30%. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin ngayon sa end ng ating lecture ay magta-type ako ng topic. Ito, ginawa ko to before na open-ended. 11 minutes ko ata itong ginawa. Gagawa ulit ako ngayon. Siyempre. Gusto kong gawin tong si dinosaur eh. Siyempre, mas mahirap, mas gusto kong gawin. Diba? Pang sa amin yun. Hindi natin alam, baka matapat din sa inyo. At least magkakaroon ka ng idea. Close. It is a natural process that animal species, such as dinosaurs, become extinct. There is no reason to prevent this from happening. Do you agree or disagree? To what extent to? So gusto kong completely disagree, that there is no reason. Okay? So oras sa akin, 11:08. Many million years ago, when dinosaurs were eradicated due to certain phenomena. And this large-scale extinction is seen happening once again in other species. Some individuals assert that people cannot do anything to stop this trend. However, I completely disagree. I completely find myself rejecting the idea that humans cannot help in preventing such event. Yan. Kasi kaya natin pigilan yan. Due to circumstances, various natural circumstances, such as a large meteorite eradicating many life on Earth, including the dinosaurs and many animal, including various animals and plant species. People have become convinced that extinction is indeed a naturally occurring phenomenon. The planet even underwent massive changes over time, which featured significant temperature changes as observed in many research. So yung mga temperature changes na yan, tulad ng pagyeyelo, yung ice age, at saka sobrang init naman, no? Yung pag-crack ng mga volcanoes natin, nag-crack ng Pangaea, kaya nagkaroon ng 7 continents. However, in this unprecedented times, when industries, precedented time, when industrial revolution has taken over many harmful fumes and chemicals are emitted to the atmosphere and the ocean. This large-scale contamination, large-scale and sudden contamination has led to many deaths of several land and aquatic life forms. In the past, when there was no human intervention, such extinction is impossible since animals can mutate to adapt to changes in the environment. Nevertheless, due to severe pollution, such species are doomed to extinction. Moreover, humans also cultivate the land area for large-scale monoculture. In Malaysia, dami tayo ng example. Their monkeys and tigers have become extinct since their forests are burned and converted into palm plantation. Since the world's palm oil supply is at its highest. As a result, many cases of species being extinct such as the one in Malaysia is contributing to this global problem. In conclusion, humans need to innovate in order to supply the basic needs of the society. However, as a result of people's inconsiderate action to the environment, many animals and plant species, thousands, are get eradicated on a yearly basis. It is high time that individuals should notice this event and make a stand and make more ecological and sustainable choices to slow down the rate of extinction in hope of preventing this from happening. 11:08, 11:20, 12 minutes continue, ilang words? 312. So, ganun po gagawa ng essay. So, 10 taon ko na po ito ginagawa, kaya magaling na ako. Okay? So, it took me years for me to reach this level. Anong i-expect nyo kung di ka magpa-practice? Diba? So, ang recommendation ko, kung kayo po ay magpa-practice, it's okay to exceed time. Ilang ba ang time limit? 1 oras para sa task 1 and task 2. Eh, kung task 2 lang, 40 minutes. So, kung magta-try ka mamaya, halimbawa, naka 265 words ka, tapos naka 1 oras at 5 minutes ka, okay lang yan. Because I want you to develop this culture within yourself na tinatapos mo yung writing. Ngayon, ang gagawin natin, paano natin pabibilisin? Nagkakaintindihan? O, so may assignment kayo. Kung ayaw mo yung assignment din, pwede mong gawin yung dinosaur na ginawa ko kanina. Pwede mo din gawin ito. Diba? The best way to teach children to cooperate is through team sports at school. To what extent do you agree or disagree? O pwede rin yung mga ginawa ko kanina, library, internet, pwede rin yung obesity, na? It's up to you which question you want to practice your essay today. At yun lang, hindi po ako mag-exam, kayo po ang mag-take ng test, kaya kayo po ang maraming babasahin pag uwi. Okay? So yun po, tapos ang ating lesson. I'll upload, as promised, yung replay, yung orange book, yung handout. Have a nice day, God bless, and good luck on your exams. Bye.